Greetings friends, and welcome to another quick tutorial, well, decently quick tutorial, on how to mix up and use acrylic grout on your props that need a stone texture. It's brilliant for it. Now, down below in this picture you'll see what I'm using here. It's a Flex Bond polymer acrylic grout. It's flexible and it has a plasticizer and it really makes it good for covering styrofoam. And mainly, you put this on your styrofoam, it can sit outside because the sun won't rot your styrofoam. The only thing I'm going to suggest is when you do it, base coat your props because it just sticks out a little bit better. Now, what you want to do is when you mix up this stuff, you want to mix it to the point that it is slimy. Like, I want to say almost like a very thin oatmeal where it's got a little bit of it's sticky but not thick. It's really hard to describe what I mean exactly by it. But when you're mixing it, add water a little bit at a time. You don't want to go over the top. And you'll see what it looks like now when I mix it here. So now when you want to apply it to whatever you're working on, all you use is a standard brush. And you paint it on. You'll see that what happens is it will leave some white areas, and this is why I like to base it with a black, because if there's any black showing, you won't see it as much as, say, the blue. And in reality, when you're done, you can go back and you can recoat this to make it look that much better again. But it goes on very easily, almost like a paint, and it dries in that wonderful stone color. Now, once you've got your grout on, you want it to be decently thick, so you'll get used to it over time on how much to actually put on, but you'll notice that we potentially will end up with brush marks on here. So what I do is I use just an old piece of sponge, and when I'm done, without taking up too much material, I just dab the surface a little tiny bit. And what it does is it gives it a texture. And when it dries, that texture will flatten out a little bit more. I just don't want to see brush marks. So once you've got this all done, you let it dry. Now, the one thing you don't want to do is do too many surfaces at once. Like, as an example, on this tombstone that I did. I'm going to spin it because it makes more sense this way. Now, just before I forget, when I'm doing small details, I use a small brush. And you'll see now that if there's any spots after you're done that you missed, you can just go back in and you can use the material again or the grout to touch it up and make it just that little bit better. Any thin spots that you had, you can go back and you can fix them. That's what's great about this stuff. And once you've done that, then you let it dry again. Now, the only thing that if you're doing your base coat, try to keep it on a horizontal plane, because if you flip it vertical, this stuff has a habit of running. So it'll drip down and it'll pull. So whenever you do a surface, make sure you do the surface as a flat rather than, stacking the tombstone vertically and then doing it all like that. Let it dry, flip it over, do the other side, then do the size. You're going to end up with some areas that you can't do flat. Like, you can do these flat, but the main one is you don't want, say, the grout running into your letters, which is a big issue. So the main one you have to worry about is if you have text or like details, you want to do this as flat as possible. You can do it vertical. It's not that big of a deal. But anyways, when you're all done, this finish is actually pretty tough stuff. It looks fantastic and gives this your props an instantaneous rock texture that it's hard to replicate it. And the best part is, a bag of that stuff's like $18, and you go through so little of it on each prop, you'll probably have the bag for years. Anyways, this is going to be just an accompanying video for a lot of my other stuff. So if you ever see, if I've done a prop that has this stuff on, you'll probably end up referencing this video. Anyways, I hope you all have a fantastic day, and have a good one all.